What up, fight fans, and welcome back to the MMA channel with me, Marisol. We had an amazing night of fights on Saturday, of course, with Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic as the main event, and essentially witnessing a sort of changing of the guards with Francis Ngannou defeating Stipe Miocic in a second round knockout and now becoming the heavyweight champion of the UFC, which is absolutely astounding to think about, to having had witnessed and seeing the amount of growth as a fighter that he has done in the years since they last fought. And it's just been absolutely amazing to witness. And of course, now as we are all watching this take place, we're already having conversations about who should he fight next, who's going to be the first title defense. And naturally, as we've all been seeing, we're thinking about, is it going to be Jon Jones? We even have Derek Lewis kind of thrown into the mix as he is highly ranked on the roster. So let's go ahead and get into that a little bit more and why I actually think that Jon Jones as the first title defense makes the absolute most sense. So since Saturday night, essentially, we've already seen that there's a lot at play when it comes to having Jon Jones being the first title defense for Francis Ngannou. Jon Jones that same night was already tweeting about it. Francis Ngannou addressed it in his post-fight interview, saying that he was ready to go and he was willing to have that fight again in the post-fight conference. He said it again that he's willing to have that fight. Dana White even chimed in and said if Jon Jones truly wants that fight, to call the right people and to get the paperwork going, and that they would essentially make the fight happen. So if Jon Jones truly does want it, I think we actually can see this fight take place, and I really do hope that that is exactly what happens. And I think that when it comes to Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou, what makes that fight so amazing and so exciting is that, one, we have a Francis Ngannou who has evolved so significantly as a fighter that we actually got to witness that evolution in his fight against Miocic. Not only was he patient, but he was throwing kicks. He had amazing takedown defense, which is not what we really saw the last time when those two fighters actually fought. So there's so much growth there. And we just saw how scary, powerful he is as well. Of course, we already knew that, but we got to witness that again. And now we get to see that power in conjunction with the other skills that he has truly revamped in the last few years. So we have this new and improved Francis Ngannou against someone like Jon Jones, who essentially is undefeated. Yes, he has one no contest and one disqualification, but in terms of truly losing and its most fundamental essence of what it means to lose, Jon Jones has not experienced that in his professional career. So we have someone who is essentially undefeated, someone that is arguably the GOAT, someone who has an extensive and a great wrestling background against Francis Ngannou, who is dangerous to say the least. So I think that there's that essence as well when it comes to this fight with those two fighters. And then on top of that, we have Jon Jones, who did leave the light heavyweight division as champion. So again, like I said, he has not lost. He essentially left as champion. So we would be getting a super fight of sorts. We're just kind of missing that other belt in this particular case. But the caliber of fighter is definitely still there with these two. And like I said before, this is with the power and the skill that Francis Ngannou now has, I think that this is the first time in a long time we actually have a genuine threat for Jon Jones. And that is amazing to see, because his last few fights, they were great fights, but I didn't have that nervous scare factor that I think we are all definitely going to get when we have Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones. So that is what it makes this fight extremely exciting for me. It makes complete sense, and I think that even if we don't get to have that title defense against Jon Jones first, that is going to happen at some point, especially since he is moving up to heavyweight. I know that there was mention of Derek Lewis, since actually when I checked this morning, the rankings have not been updated, so Derek Lewis is still listed as second, but naturally since Francis Ngannou has moved up as champion, Derek Lewis would make sense that moves up as being the first contender. So it makes sense if Derek Lewis got that title defense first, and then I think it's inevitable to see a title defense against Jon Jones. But it makes sense to have that be the first one because it's just so crazy. I think that the fans and all of us would be extremely hyped up to see it. And it's not only just the money fight to make, but there's just so much behind it as well, since we have two incredible fighters going up against each other. But let me know what you guys think. I definitely think that there is an opportunity for greatness for both fighters, whoever comes out on top in that fight. But if you agree, let me know. And if you don't agree, let me know why, because I would want to know why you guys think this shouldn't take place. Until the next one, guys, bye.